So the biggest challenge for me with the new year 5 content for the division is actually where to start. Now, on PlayStation, I have an account where I finally reached shade level 1000. I was already doing expertise level there. That's where my clan is. But I sometimes would like to come on my PC accounts and do a little bit of work. But here's the challenge that I'm facing also in that regard, because I thought maybe I'll split my time, get on PC, start playing Descent, some more legendaries, which I really enjoy playing, and engage with the content there. But my biggest barrier has not necessarily been the XP changes or whatever. It's been the stability of the game on PC. The Division 2 has not necessarily given me the very best performance. And I know that there's a workaround or a fix of some kind where you can actually get the game to run. But in reality, you're not guaranteed that the game is going to run without crashing. This has been an incessant issue for a very long time. A lot of people have been talking about it. And I think there might be some kind of a, in my opinion, anyways, a system that had been introduced at one point during one of the patches a few months ago, possibly close to a year ago. And the game has had some really interesting stability problems on PC. Just recently, I actually logged in and I was looking up some things. I was running around the world. I was trying my best to kind of get a good feel. But then I got the crash, and that was kind of disconcerting because, this crash situation is something where you don't necessarily need it to happen. Thankfully, though, let's say you're in the middle of like a raid or like a legendary, people are now strong enough to be able to continue to stay in the game before you go back and reboot your system and all of that good stuff. So I wonder what's going on at Massive, and I wonder if this is something that they have identified and are probably, working on fixing, or identified and have realized that if at any rate they go ahead and tweak this particular bug that may be causing these crashes, then we're going to have a whole bunch more problems. A thing like the Division, a game like it anyways, in my opinion, has probably reached that stage where introduction of new systems will continue to get more and more complicated. Many of you realize that when the patch for the Descent was about to go live, it took an extra delay for everything to come into place. Previously to that, there was another patch that was going live where the build generation system also broke. Now, I'm not attributing all these things to being connected. I'm just saying that the complication of the game is the likely probability as to why these particular issues are actually seen in the game in terms of stability, in terms of performance. And overall, if you kind of think about it, it really does break the experience when you actually consider that this is actually something that needs to be looked at, needs to be addressed. So my plea to Ubisoft Massive is possibly to, maybe prioritize this particular issue with one of their biggest player bases, if not their biggest player base at the onset of the launch of the game. This is something that many people, really do not know. Maybe there are not a lot of people playing on PC. Maybe now console is the, biggest priority and the biggest target. And possibly that's where I would go and eventually continue playing. But again, like I said, because of the variety and because of the way that I like to play, it's something where I want to come on my PC account to play from time to time. And I think this would also be alleviated whenever they're making their next set of games and they realize that people enjoy playing on different platforms, possibly giving the option, or at least allowing for that option to continue to exist, where there is cross-save functionality. They have it available right now in games like Assassin's Creed. So I think this is something that needs to be prioritized. I know Yannick has mentioned in the past that, implementing cross-save is going to be insane because you have to take a lot of these different user accounts and match them up with the data and change up, data that exists already. And I can say, okay, I back away from that argument. I'm no longer going to push for that. But I think, this is a very huge lesson learned because you never really know how long your game may actually go. Apparently, because, at some point this game was about to be, dead in the water. But now here we are. We have new content and we have all kinds of other stuff coming into the pipeline. So I think that implementation needs to be standardized across Ubisoft. Ubisoft is usually the publisher that is on the forefront of making innovative, moves anyways. So I don't see any reason. They are the market leader when it comes to making some really crazy innovations. That's no doubt about that. Say all you want about them, but their games will implement some really crazy stuff that you'll be, hard pressed to find in other places. In fact, I'll throw out an example here before, somebody comes to the comment section and is like, what? There was a little system they added to Assassin's Creed Valhalla where I think you could you revert a projectile back to the enemy. And the developers actually had conversations with the community, and then they showed the community how they implemented it, which is a very interesting system. Now, this is not usually, too foreign for game developers to implement things that, their community wants. But in a single player game that's already been developed, for them to go back and rework code and rework animations and all that stuff for a game that's already kind of sealed and done, and they could just be adding DLC, I thought that was quite a unique proposition. You don't see it a lot, and you don't even see the developers come out and say, this is exactly how we did it. So that to me was a big deal. So I'm hoping that they can actually continue to implement this particular framework and paradigm to ensure that, we get a good experience in the future. That way, if your game is crashing on one platform, your save files can actually allow for you to be able to play on other platforms. But again, your game shouldn't even be crashing anyways. We shouldn't be having this conversation because quality control is a really, really big deal. So lessons learned. Hopefully we're moving forward into other titles where this is not really a big deal. And so me not knowing where to start from is not necessarily because I'm having a mental block. I mean, I am busy this summer. I didn't think I was going to be as busy. That's also kind of hindered me, but also trying to come in and finding that these quality issues are basically, inherently, stopping the experience is not necessarily the greatest thing. So perhaps I'll stick with that PlayStation, run whenever it is I have the time to get back in, or when I finish my summer obligations in the next few weeks. Thanks so much for watching the video. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.